What is up, everybody? Team Fanatic here. Hope you all are having a fantastic day, and welcome to another post-game reaction. In this one, I am continuing my coverage of my boys in gold, Nashville SC, and the most recent match against Real Salt Lake. Nashville SC beat Real Salt Lake at home 2-1. Much needed after not one but two just devastating losses. We got lots to talk about right here, so let's go ahead and dive right in. Now, for Nashville SC, taking on Real Salt Lake, right? This is our first meeting against Real Salt Lake since 2022. It has been a hot minute since we played Real Salt Lake. So some big keys for us in this match, definitely. We had to maintain defensive pressure, especially toward the end of the match. Unfortunately, we would have to do it without Walker Zimmerman. He was out for this match in concussion protocol. Hopefully, he comes back sooner rather than later. But I was hoping that for the rest of our backline, that was gonna inspire them, right? Like, that was going to give them, like, that big boost. Like, that luxury of just relying on Walker to just, like, bail you out, that was gone in this match. So, guys had to step up. I've always said this, man. Like, guys, do not sit back in your own 18 and wait for the match to come to you. No, you be aggressive. You defend your box. Get those turnovers and get on transition. Unfortunately for our back line, they are slow learners, as I will put it. 6-minute Dominic Marzik for Real Salt Lake. He had a huge chance. A right-footed shot from the center of the box. Thankfully, Mayer, he was just right there to just get a touch on that ball and send that ball high. Now, my just question for this, and again, I give Mayer credit for, like, having that great play. But why is Marzik running into our box, again, unmarked? What is going on there? Well, if you look at Daniel Lovitz, bro, I'm not here to pick on you. I love you, bro, and I know that you could do better. But Daniel, why are you drifting toward the middle? Right? Mayer has that spot. He has that covered. Like we're good. You know? Marzik, that is your guy. If, like, that's your guy, then, like, you gotta stay with him, especially when he goes on those runs. Unfortunately, that would be a preview for what happens next. So, Diego Luna with a free kick. Joe Willis makes the save. Ball stays in. Diego G for Salt Lake with another shot right here. Joe makes another great save, right? But 12th minute, Marzik comes in. Once again, Lovitz was late. You know what? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. I think that's how that saying goes. If I'm not saying that right, I'm sorry. But you get the idea. Daniel, he had it. You know what? He got bailed out once. It was not going to happen a second time. Not against a player like Marzik, who can't score with these opportunities right here. He does. And now we are down 1 goal. I will say later on, Lovitz, he does get some form of payback on Marzik. I will address that in a minute. But after this Real Salt Lake goal, I do commend us for having a good response. I mean, 14th minute, great chance here. Hani with that ball to Moyle, who has a great chance. The ball sails high. I think that, look, I will say this. There could have been like a handball in there. If you look at the replay, because the angle was weird, but one of the Real Salt Lake players, I couldn't tell who it was, but he had his hand behind his back and he hit that ball. I'm just saying, just throwing it out there, man. I did not like that at all. Unfortunately, for most of this game, for most of this match, the refs, they did not favor us at all. So soon after that chance by Muya, Hani gets clipped. He falls down. That should have been a penalty. Hani, as basic human nature does, and I don't blame him for this at all, he retaliates because in Hani's mind, I'm assuming he is thinking, well, the refs, they're just putting the whistles away tonight. So, I mean, like, why not get, like, a little, like, payback in there? Hani does, but he gets called for a yellow card. Shortly after Hani gets called for a yellow, which, again, I do not agree with at all, Daniel Lovitz, here was his payback here. There was a moment when he punched Marzik in the face, and, like, that's putting it lightly. Certainly the punch wasn't light, but Daniel, I mean, that was just one of those moments, I think, where Daniel, he just stuck his fist out there. He was like, ugh, just hit him right in the jaw. And again, I get the frustration, but Daniel, you just can't do that. You cannot do that. You have to play smarter. Refs have already been on you. And now you do stuff like this. Like, they've already been on our team. Apparently, there was some bias toward us. They were looking at us to commit the fouls. They were looking to see what we were going to do to get us in trouble. This does not help. Thank goodness the refs did not give Daniel a red card. So maybe they were starting to turn the tide just a little bit. Maybe they were starting to give us just a little bit of grace. Because come on! We're getting hammered! And you know what? I have talked about Daniel Owens a lot in this video. Like already, I mentioned him, I feel like a good amount of times. And I have mentioned some of his, like, not great moments in this match. But here, let's talk about a good moment right here. 30th minute, Nashville corner attacks Seth with a great delivery. And then Daniel Owens with that all-important first touch. He heads that ball in, baby. And now the match is level. You know, good for Levitz. But I think Daniel, he might have gotten just a little too excited after this goal, because right after, soon after, he gave Salt Lake a free kick. And I'm just like, Daniel, bro, like, I get the hype, I get why you're happy, but just settle down just a little bit here, bro. Like, we still have a whole match to play right here. I think as this match went on, you know, again, we talk about momentum and how it was so important to maintain. Now that the refs aren't as biased against us anymore, we were able to change some things up. And we were able to really take control. And I think early on, I think we were just too bunched in defensively, and real Salt Lake players, like, that just really allowed them, because we were so bunched up, like, we just allowed them to do whatever that they wanted. As this match went on, I think we got our fullbacks wide, and so it was much harder for RSL to close down. Thus, we had more quality chances, like this one in the 36th minute. By Brugman. He took a shot, ball, went high. But again, like, you gotta like the chances that we were getting in this match. You have to like how the momentum was starting to swing to us. And 43rd minute, Hani, he has an unreal chance right here. Surridge, he had it. He got it to Hani. And then Mukhtar, he tries to tip this ball in. And honestly, for me, I probably would have put just a little more air on this ball. I feel like Hani, he just kind of just had like a straight shot on it. If Hani would have just elevated that ball just a tad bit, I think that that would have went in absolutely. But again, even though that, like, we couldn't score on all of our chances, like, I was still feeling fine with being level at the half. But my goodness, refs! Stop with this. Stop letting Hani get beat up. The man is a human being out there, out on the pitch, and he's getting ran over by all these real Salt Lake players. They're just bashing him, and the refs, they weren't doing anything about it. For most of this match, they let whoever just bash Hani, hit him in the head, do whatever. For what reason, I do not why. And in the second half, that theme, again, of real Salt Lake players doing whatever that they want in terms of having fouls, right? And making plays that should have been called as a yellow or possibly a red. That theme continued throughout this match. However, in stoppage time, we finally get it. We finally get some justice for Hani. 89th minute, Hani gets ran over by Palaliso. Again, they were just, oh my gosh, they were just bashing poor Hani out there. But this time, the refs, you know what? They do it right. They call it a PK, absolutely. And so, Hani Mukhtar on PKs, he hasn't been the best this year. Like, in years past, Hani would be like, he would be just so automatic and he would score on that. It hasn't always been like that this year. And I thought that Hani, like, he was going to take it. But this had to be one of the most emotional moments that I think I've ever seen in all of sports right here. So Hani gets the ball. And he hands it to Sam Surridge. Now, if you've seen Ted Lasso, I think it's at the end of season 2 where Jamie Tart, little spoiler alert if you haven't seen Ted Lasso, but I mean, like, that's a great show. Come on. So at the end of Season 2, the final episode, Jamie Tart, he hands the ball to Danny Rojas. And Danny, he scores on that, and he's just so emotional, and you can just feel it. That's kind of what I was feeling like here. Hani, would he have scored on this? Maybe. But he says no. He takes the ball. He takes this ball, for example, and he hands it to Sam Sturridge. That is a guy. That's why I love Hani, one of the great qualities. He is a guy that puts the team before himself. And in Tennessee sports, as we've seen in recent news, that's hard to come by. To find a guy who puts the team before himself and doesn't ask for a bunch of money. Anyway, Hani hands the ball to Sam Sturridge, and Sammy scores, baby, to clinch this win for Nashville SC for the boys of gold. Once again, we win 2-1 after rough losses in their own regard to Cincinnati and Charlotte. We get back on track with a great win over Real Salt Lake. So, you know what, again, I'm not going to be too nitpicky here because I was just thinking to myself, hey, like, we need some amount of points. Some amount of points would be great. Thankfully, we got the win. Defensively, here is what I will say. Guys, just continue to do their job. Love it. Great game, dude. I'm glad that you got that goal. But, Daniel, like, you have to pick a man. You have to stay with him, especially when he goes on runs. We cannot. Like, imagine if that was Messi, you know? If he ran unmarked, how insane that would be. That, like Daniel would let that happen. I want Daniel to learn from that and grow because he can get a bit better. And also, like, Real Salt Lake, they had, again, like, their fair share of chances here. I want us, again, to work on just, like, settling plays down. You know, get that momentum back, get that clear. And as far as the AA attacking, like, great team efforts here all around. The passing was crisp. Again, we had a lot of good chances right inside of the box. And I did see this because, like, again, like, as this match went on, we were able to do more, I guess, experiments. And, like, we let Hani really do his thing, like, in the middle. Like, most times, Hani, he would be on the outside trying to get a delivery in. I want to see what Hani can do in the middle. Like, again, going back to Ted Lasso, play through Hani, not to him. Play through him. I want to see how that can work. And so, yes, again, like, great win for us. So, yeah, boys, hopefully we can keep it going. Fans, little announcement, though. I will not be covering the Seattle match. I will be doing some traveling. I won't be in my studio. So, sadly, I won't be able to cover that match. But the following match, I will be back, and I will be back to talking about my boys in gold. Hopefully, talking about a win. But, fans, that is going to do it for this post-game reaction. Thank you all so much for watching. If you all enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button, click that bell, and you can join our Fanatic Army. And a honey salutes to all of you as always, and I hope that all of you have a fantastic day. Go, boys and gold!